Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to a not super late edition of the Missing Wolves postgame podcast live stream thing. I'm Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage, and I'm going to try not to call the Wolves the Lynx tonight because I have been talking so much Lynx the last 3 days that I'm going to try my hardest, but no guarantees. We got Benny Hughes back on the pod, though, from Canis Hoopus. How's it going, man?
I'm great. I am wonderful. I was just vibing out to your music, and not to make you talk about Lynx anymore. I'm also excited for that, but I guess we got some Wolves to talk about tonight as well. So, but yeah, I'm great.
Yeah, I mean, off rip, I guess I'll plug it. If there are Lynx fans that are tuning into this, I am going to be going live with some combination of the Hitting the Hardwood / random people that I find to do a podcast with me, or I might just be alone. I'm not too sure yet, but we will be going live after the expansion draft to kind of talk all that stuff over. I'm also hoping at some point tomorrow we find out when free agency begins.
Awesome.
That seems like a pretty pertinent thing 3 weeks before the season that we find out when it starts, but who knows? Anyways,
yep.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to watch that tomorrow. But other than that, we do have a little bit of basketball to talk about tonight. Wolves lose to the Pistons by 5. I mean, I'll just kind of throw it to you. What can you take from this game? Is there anything?
Yeah, not a whole ton, I guess. I mean, it was just nice from a human perspective to see Terrence, Shannon, and Mike Conley both play well. But it was also just interesting to be wow, so it's not even Mike Conley falling off because of the age for the season. It's in one singular game because you could kind of see the energy dip and kind of maybe the age showing a little bit over the course of 48 minutes, which it's getting it to be a smaller and smaller sample for that. So that was kind of interesting, but spin it positively. I mean, he did hit 4 threes, right? Which was just cool because it was all right, you still got that, even if that's just a one-off thing. Yeah, just good for him of being okay, I can still at least do this on occasion. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after their last home game, I asked Mike in the locker room, how's your body feeling, buddy? Because he kind of just watching him walk after games, sometimes he looks like he's wearing skates. Hockey players walk with their skates on and their skate guards on, where it's just this really stompy, gimpy walk. That's how he walks some games. And he was walking after that after the last home game. And I just kind of asked him, how you doing? He's awful. Absolutely awful. And yeah, he's kind of at that stage of his career where everything probably hurts a lot as soon as the adrenaline wears off. And I'm guessing halftime hit him hard tonight, which honestly, if Joe was playing 24 minutes, Joe would probably feel the same way. But instead, we just get Wolves dad towel Joe stuff. But I agree with you. Mike is fun. Terrence, I mean, he's quietly been stringing together actual good performances, which I mean, I don't know. Do you think there's any chance he makes it into a playoff rotation, or is this just good for next year type of stuff?
Yeah, I'm more on the latter of that, just good for next year. Cause it's you still got him under contract, right? He's still going to be on his rookie deal for a little while. So if you can get anything out of that, even if it's just more of a regular season thing, I'd say that's a win. Obviously you maybe would have wanted a little bit more out of even if it's a late first round pick, but at the same time, it is just good to see him showing some of that pop and stringing together some, because obviously, I mean, we've talked about this a few times of it's just been really brutal for him this season. But what I love tonight, though, is it was really clear from the get-go, right? Especially without Ant, and half-court offense is going to be a struggle. And it was every time I was you just got to run. You have to do anything in your power to play on an unbalanced floor on offense, 4-on-3, 5-on-4, whatever it is. And I just loved his attention to that. Every time he got the ball, it was like a rocket, and he's gone, And so I just really enjoyed that because, one, he's good at that, and that's something that he should be doing because he is good at that. And even if it was a lot of left-handed righty layup tonight, though, I know we all saw that.
He did hit a righty layup. That was my jaw physically dropped.
Exactly, right? I was whoa, all right, it was wide open, but we're still, that's something, it's a little glimmer. But I guess I just really enjoyed that part of it because, again, we all knew that half-court offense was going to be a struggle, but anytime that they could have played in transition tonight, that was going to be the only way they were going to kind of smash and grab and win that game. So, yeah.
And I mean, they looked fine. Ren mentions off rip here, Rudy Gobert guarding Io and blocked his shot, summarized
Oh,
this game.
God.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of this game. I am assuming they'll keep some of the Terrence tape. And I mean, Julius hit a back cut. Like he did a back cut and Kyle
He
hit him.
did.
Like probably save those two things on the tape and burn the rest and just move on with their lives. Ren also adds, aside from Conley making his threes, he cannot guard anymore. Yeah. I mean, I think this is just the reality of like point guards, especially when they're undersized. It's just over. Like
Yep.
it's just done. And I think Mike has handled that with a lot of grace. I mean, talking about like how he wants to help the next, like the bench guys get their feet under him. And he's just like such a good teammate that I think he still means a lot to this team, but it's just kind of like, pack mentality. We wanted the 6th seed anyways. That's what I wrote about today, was basically like seeding doesn't matter. Just get healthy, which that's what Farah says, is just want to get into the playoffs healthy. I mean, that would be my goal if I'm the team. Stevens adds a good question though. What's going on with Naz Reid? I mean, Benny, I'll just throw it to you. Like, what do you feel like's been going on with Naz? Because he has, I mean, he might be suffering like, I'd hate to bring it back to Lynx, but like Dejanay Carrington last year had this weird shoulder injury where like her shoulder would just randomly pop out of socket and pop back in. Like kind of maybe that's similar to what Naz is dealing with, but he does not look the same.
Right. No, I mean, that was exactly going to be the point I bring up, because there's really nothing else. Like, obviously, like he can be a little bit of a volatile player, but like usually it's like you get the good with like some of these games, and it's just been like a lot of like, he's 6 of 16 tonight. I feel like you've seen a lot of those scoring lines from him. So I think it's exactly that. It's got to be something with the shoulder, because even at one point tonight, I think in the second quarter, like he was holding it and it was like looking limp, and he like bricked a free throw really bad, and so yeah, like labrum, I don't know. You're the nurse, man. Like you gotta diagnose that. So,
I mean,
I think that.
I just bring up like the Dejanay similarity because like with an injury like that, there's not much you can do. Like even if you rest it, like until you have shoulder surgery, it's a really common thing with pitchers too, where like the joint just gets kind of loose and then you get bumped and your shoulder pops out of socket and then pops back in. And it's not even like a, like in the movies where they're like smashing their shoulder against like a car window to get it popped back in. It literally just is like a micro displacement, pops back in. You kind of live your life. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is like, if it was something more serious, you'd think you just wouldn't play Naz and let it heal, unless it's something like that, where it's just like, hey man, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but you're not going to do more damage to it, which
right, exactly. Like it won't get worse. I feel like is usually like the term they always use of like, when you hear about it after the season, it's like, well, yeah, it like hurt really bad, but like it can't get worse. I feel like that was a thing bringing the Vikings into it. They were talking about that with Carson Wentz, and he had a shoulder injury too, where it was like, obviously he looked like trash the game before he got put on IR, but like it was because of that. And they're like, well, it can't get worse. So as long as you're like you want to play and you can roll out there, then we'll let you do it. So yeah.
Which again, that's just my guess on it. Like Naz is a super proud guy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's just gutting through something. And like if it's not going to get worse, then what's the point of sitting, I guess. But man, it's tough to watch. I mean, Jake mentions Wolf's staff just keeps throwing him out there. Like it does get kind of tough to watch when he gets popped in the shoulder and he's sitting there looking like it's going to fall off. But I'm to be clear, my official take is let's just let everyone sit on the bench for a couple of games. Like,
right.
Give Naz a couple days without pain. I think he might appreciate that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like at this point, it's like I looked up like the Rocket schedules and everything. Oh, wait, I'm back.
Oh, Benny is back after a pause.
I'm back. Is everything all right?
Yes, you said you looked up the Rocket schedule and then I just went silent. So
okay, yeah, I was like, I got the wheel of death. I was like, oh no. But yeah, I looked up the Rockets schedule compared to the Wolves schedule, and it just seems like the Rockets just have like a much easier path, right? And like they still like the Wolves could still take that game on the. I don't know what's happening. Am I back now again? Jeez.
Yep, you're back now again.
Good God, I don't know what's going on. I might check my router during the ad break, but anyway, yeah, the Rockets have a much easier schedule than the Wolves do, at least the rest of the way. And obviously, you can get a game back, or well, like they count as two. I think Finch was talking about that of that game against the Rockets on the 10th, I think, but that's the second last game of the year. So I feel like by that point, they'll know. So.
Steven says,
Yeah,
get off Starlink. It might be on Earthlink. Throwback to that AOL.
Yeah,
You might be too young.
Yeah,
for
I got
AOL
wire.
chat.
No, I had to dial up internet, dude. Like,
Ren says T-Mobile is offering fiber Wi-Fi. I will say I have Quantum. Works great.
there you go.
Love it.
The second I hop off here, I will go do it. Or if I lag out for even longer, we'll go check it out.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess like the premise of like my piece that I wrote was just like it doesn't. The Wolves get matched up. The chances the Wolves are going to catch Denver to get the 4 seed, they would have to kind of go all out just to make up those 2 games. And like, is it worth it to go all out just to get a home game that, like, if you ask Jaden or Ant, they'd rather play on the road anyways? Like, probably not worth it. And then it's like, if they fall to the 6, they play a Lakers team that is like Luka has been insane, but like it's an inherently flawed team. Like AR is solid, but not like an all-star caliber. LeBron has shown that if he's playing big minutes or back-to-backs, it kind of falls off a little bit. And then past that, you're like DeAndre Ayton, who had good games against the Wolves, but has not been having like a good season.
Right.
Marcus Smart, like Jake LaRavia, like I don't think anyone else on that team really moves the needle. So like I do think, you know, it's not going to be this like horrible thing of oh gosh, we have to play the Lakers versus we have to play the Nuggets. Like both of them are pretty much just as flawed as the Wolves, I'd say. I mean, I do like Dub the Wolves comment, why are we resting everyone for the playoffs except for Nas? Like, yeah, I'm right there with you, man. It's wild.
Yeah, let TJ go off for 20, man, so we feel good about it, you know? Like, let's do it, right? Roll him out there.
Well, and it's like you look at the rest of the lineup, like Kyle missed the game with a ankle or a calf thing, like Io missed time with a calf thing and also a thumb thing. Dante's face has been beat up multiple times this year. Like, let's just give everyone a couple days off and just let's see what happens in the playoffs. I think that's kind of where the team is at this point too, where it's like they want to keep the defensive identity. They know that if that falls off, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But like, I think they can kind of keep the defense rolling as long as Rudy's out there, which not a good Rudy game, admittedly. Well, any pressing Rudy thoughts you had from tonight?
Yeah, it was a bit concerning because like I think I tweeted this out at one point, but I feel like Duren falls in the same camp as like what we see when he plays against like Şengün, where they just kind of want to take him and put him in the rim. And unfortunately, like if they can get to it, they're gonna. Oh my God, happen again? Oh no, I'm back.
Your audio's still working. You're just frozen in a very excited.
Man, I might have to go to like my phone Wi-Fi or something like that.
But no, I think you're right. Like I think there's just a certain type of player that gives Rudy troubles, which at least like Finch has a relationship with Rudy where he's able to, you know, put him on the bench and go Rudy or Randall Nas. I think when Jaden's back, we might see more Jaden at the 4, but like tough Rudy game. Ren asks, you know, rather play against the Nuggets in the playoffs unless Luka gets injured. I'm pretty indifferent. Like I think the Nuggets are a team that probably has more of a ceiling just because like Jokic has won a ring. You look at Jamal Murray when he's hot, he's one of the top 10 guards in the league. Aaron Gordon's a menace. Tim Hardaway's had a good season. Christian Brown, if he comes back, well, he is back, but if he continues to come back from injuries and playing better, like I think that team just has more depth, but they don't have necessarily like the LeBron, AR, Luka big three where like any one of them can just go for 40 on any given night. So
Yeah.
I honestly think it's a toss up. And Benny, do you have any strong feelings?
Yeah, I feel like that I would err towards the Lakers just because we just saw it last year and we just saw them like pretty decisively take them down in a playoff series. And again, like all the caveats that you already mentioned when we're talking about the Lakers of like Luka, we're getting a better version of Luka this year. I think AR has taken a step forward. I mean, Aiton's better than Jackson Hayes was, or whoever they ended up starting at center. Was that Finney Smith or something? Like by the end of it,
Yeah.
so it is like a better team, but it's still, like you said, it's a very flawed team and much less depth in that way. I do think that like the Nuggets' biggest thing I feel like that you have to mention is the health part of it, right? Especially like Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson, both big soft tissue injuries that held them out for a long time, especially Aaron Gordon, because obviously he is just crucial to what they do, especially on defense, but both ends of the floor now, honestly. I will say that the Nuggets, I would say, are a good matchup for the Wolves, just because Jokic as a rim defender, obviously, again, not saying anything crazier here, but like not the best rim defender in the game. So Ant can just, lunch money, man. He's going to the rim every time. That's why he always drops 40 against him, right? So I do think the Nuggets is a good matchup, and I wouldn't like be really, I wouldn't be as worried about it as I was really early on in the year when the Nuggets were playing. Just for those reasons. But again, I would maybe be like 60-40, maybe 70-30 Lakers, but like, again, not so strongly of like, we have to play them. Otherwise it's going to get scary really quick. So
yeah, and I think the moral of this, if there is one, is like, I hope the Wolves take away from this season, like they could have been the 3 seed playing a Rockets team that they've kind of just dominated this week. I mean, even the games where they lost, it wasn't like the Rockets were great. They kind of figured them out. Like you win 5 more games and you're probably in the 3 seed and you're feeling really good. I hope that's the lesson they take. I did see a couple people in the chat, and I apologize. I think it was Ren or Packer or Farah or someone brought up just like the rotations, Kyle versus TJ, Mike getting a bunch of minutes. I personally feel bad for Mike Conley getting a bunch of minutes because like it physically hurts him, I think. But like the rest of it, it's just like, I don't know. I think as long as they get out of these games healthy, I mean, they got to win like 2 to solidify the 6th seed.
Yeah. And the Suns lost tonight to the Hornets too, so it might even be down. Yeah, I think you're right. And that 2, and I think they just need 2 wins or 2 Suns losses, if I'm not mistaken with that.
Which like that's just kind of perfect. Which Ren takes credit for asking about the rotations. Like I just think right now Finch is probably just going off vibes. Mike has a good first half, throw him back out there. Kyle kind of settles everyone down and like literally yells at people on the court if they're not hustling. Get Kyle out there, like just keep making things like that work. The other thing Jack brings up, the only team the Wolves have to worry about is themselves. Like I think that's honestly spot on. What do you think, Benny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it too many times this year and honestly in previous years too, but in that like they show that they have the talent and they have the makeup in order to beat these like top tier teams. It's just about doing it consistently and like building those habits to do it consistently. Because it just has felt like roller coaster. Like we're high peaks, low valleys. So totally agree with that.
Feels good to be in a place tonight though where it's just like, it doesn't matter, we're fine.
Right, I know exactly where I'm like, I'm not crushed because they lost some insane game. Or I was at the Rockets game last week and I'm just like going through all the emotions like in a span of 6 minutes, and it was just like, so it was like, like they played all right, and shoot, like they could have maybe had that one, but they didn't. And also, just shout out Dennis Jenkins. That dude was balling tonight. Good for and he's been balling as of late, but like I hadn't really gotten like a super close look. I had just kind of seen some clips and stuff, and like so obviously seen like the screenshots of the stats. But yeah, that dude in the pick and roll, he was something else. Yeah, so shout out to him. Just respect to the other team over there. So
yeah, I mean, the other thing I'll say is like, as a guy who really thought Ron Holland would be good, I just like Ron Holland. I like all
Yeah.
of the weird things he does. I like the like stepping on people's shoes. I don't know. Ron
Yep.
Holland. Shout out that guy. He's turning into a great like troublemaking Pat Beverly 6'10" guy. So love it.
Yep.
CO brings up the lesson for this, that this roster is a 6 seed and big offseason changes need to be made. Why don't we talk about that a little bit after the break here? Because I don't disagree with you. Pack mentality adds, you know, they need to play a full offensive and defensive game. Yes, agree with that too. But let's do some ad reads first when we'll come back. I do have to get a little bit of a rant off of my chest about this whole 65 games thing.
Yeah,
and
we'll get
not making an award. So we'll talk about that too. But first, ads. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Shout out Pence Homes. You'll be seeing him a lot once Lynx games start up because he is sitting courtside at all of them. So appreciate his sponsorship. Also, Firehawk Construction. It is almost deck season. So if you do need to redo a deck, redo flooring on a deck, please reach out to them. That's their preferred thing to do in the summer is be outside and make people make decks safe. I don't know how to word that better, but yeah, give them a call. Anyways, like, I last time I talked, I feel like we're on the same page of like they do need to do something this off season. I feel like I haven't really changed off of that. And if anything, this stint without Ant, I think, you know, Julius has been fine, but I think it's been a lot of like Io, Jaden, Rudy that have been kind of holding this thing together. What are your thoughts like looking ahead to the off season though?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, we've talked about it of like just like looking at the books and just kind of like how their minutes are distributed, especially in the front court and how much money is tied up there. Like it makes sense to move one of those guys, right? I might just flip it back to you quick because I am curious and like I have my opinion, but I just always like to I want to bounce this one off you. Because like Io DeSumu's somewhat emergence. I was gonna say he didn't play super well tonight, but he still had 19 and shot 50%. He was minus 11, but still. Does
That's
that
better
change?
than a Wiggins game?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So does like his kind of emergence like change the calculus of like potential trade targets or kind of what you're thinking that this team could need? Does that change it at all, or are you kind of in the same boat as you were before?
I'm pretty stubborn on like embracing the chaos with this team of like just go Houston Rockets Harden, just Ant 40% usage, shooters all around him, guys that are like lengthy, can play defense, your Eric Gordons, your Trevor Arizas, your Clint Capella as kind of the 5, you know, Rudy can play that role. So I'm still like, I think Io helps. I think Io gives you, when Ant is on the bench, gives you at least one guy that can kind of run stuff. But I think my opinion of him has changed more from like, you know, I thought when we traded for him, he was just a very like opportunistic, smart scorer. One of the stats I saw when I was like writing about him was he only took one shot from three that wasn't wide open or open during his entire
Yeah.
year in Chicago this year.
Why not?
And kind of what I've noticed is he plays a lot like young Mike Conley. Like he's super fast. He's super good in like open space. He has that connection with Rudy. I mean, Mike, when he was younger, had it with like Zebo and Marc Gasol, but like their games are both just similar. And kind of all season, I've been like, this team just needs prime Mike Conley. So if you kind of lucked into that with Io being better than certainly I thought he was going to be this season, then maybe it is you're just trading Julius to, you know, get some better depth or get some of your assets back in forms of picks. I mean, obviously, if Giannis is still out there, you probably take that Giannis swing still. But I honestly kind of like the core of like if it's Io, Ant, Jaden, Nas, and Rudy next year as the starters with like Dante, Bones, Johan getting sparingly minutes and then a couple pieces that you got from Randle. Like, I think that would be fun. I don't know if they win a championship, but I know it would be fun.
Yeah, it would be a good time. Okay. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm just.
Where's your head at though? Because I'm curious now.
Yeah, because I've kind of flipped back and forth on that because it's like it's easy to kind of get swept up in like, oh man, like I was looking awesome. Like could he be like that piece next to Ant in the backcourt? I think I probably like, if I remove myself from recency bias or try my best to, I still think that like they need a second option that does the things that Julius does, but I want it to come from the perimeter.
Yeah.
If that can make sense. I want that to just come from a different spot on the floor. I think that it would be a much more helpful for the spacing of the team and of the offense, and especially of the starting five. So I think I'm still on the side of like a point guard move, and something of that capacity, and someone that makes around the salary range that like Randle or Gobert does. And again, I don't know what moves are available or what's going on with all of that, but that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like, I think you'd still need someone that can like take some of those responsibilities off Ant. So it's not like completely on him, solely on him, more so that he can go play defense at a higher level. Cause I think that's when this team could really ascend, is if he's able to do that and really more like be on, not on the level as Jaden, but like be able to be like, no, I got this guy now. So then you can go do your roaming thing, or like just, it opens up more options if he's able to do that. I think you only get that if you have another guy from the perimeter that can go beat their guy off the dribble without necessarily an advantage created for them. The other thing I think about with that, oh, sorry, you can go.
Oh, I was just going to pose a question to you. What if they just go weird? Like they keep Rudy, because I think Rudy, one thing I've learned from this season is this team's like not good without Rudy. Like they just defensively, I think they're ranked 26th in defensive rating without Rudy Gobert. Like they're just, no matter who's on the court, if Rudy is off the court, this team can't play defense. And that's like, I would almost ride Rudy another season, but like, that's different conversation. But like you keep Rudy, maybe you move Jaden to the 4 and then you start Io and Ant, and then you look for like either another guard, because Io can guard up a little bit. Ant can also guard up, or you just go get a wing. Like I think if there is, again, it's hard to like nail down a name. Like I'm a big DeJounte Murray guy, so like if he's healthy, that would be dope. Oddly, like I think Brandon Ingram would work like really good in that theoretical lineup, because then he would be the worst defender on the team, and like Ant probably turns into your fourth best defender on that starting lineup. Like I've been kicking that one around too, of like maybe they just go small.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had that thought too of like, I feel like we just get fed like point guard. I thought of DeJounte Murray. Also because he just randomly makes like the exact same amount of money as Julius does, if you look at the context. Him or Kyrie, I feel like are kind of the two that like just make sense in terms of like an asset perspective of like, okay, DeJounte Murray is still coming off that Achilles injury. He's kind of been balling out, I think, recently for the Pelicans.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Right. But they still might like not have really a need for him and could find value, or if Julius is getting rerouted somewhere else. Same thing with Kyrie, obviously coming off an ACL tear. What is he, 34 now? I don't think he's played in like over like a year and a half or something like that. So it's like these guys of like, still high upside, but like you're definitely taking a risk by going after either of those guys. But the other one I have no idea about his availability, but like kind of in that weird mold of like another wing, was another Pelican of like Trey Murphy.
Yeah,
I don't know if they
that'd be
would kind
fun.
of want to move him, but that would kind of fascinate me of like, okay, now you have a bunch of guys that have positional size, who are strong, who are lanky, and also Trey Murphy's an awesome defender. So again, kind of in your same idea of like he would then be the fourth defender on the team, if not fifth in the starting lineup. I mean, so
If Trey Murphy is the worst defender in your starting lineup,
I know,
like
exactly.
I don't know how people would score. Like
Yeah,
another person that I was like just like wondering about, like, this is what I do in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. I just go on like Basketball
exactly,
Reference and I'm like, I wonder who hates where they're at
exactly.
situationally.
Yep.
Like, is Mikal Bridges really happy in New York? Like, could
Yeah,
you trade Julius and something to a different team? That team sends something to New York, and then you end up with Mikal Bridges out of it. Like,
yeah,
again, if Mikal Bridges is your third option offensively and your fifth best defender, like that's probably fun. Like,
yeah. And I know the Knicks fans haven't been super happy with him as of late.
yeah,
Yeah, kind of that would be the same vein of like, I remember even when like the Nets were kind of like looking at maybe dealing him. I was like, on the trade machine trying to figure out a way to get him here. So yeah, I like that idea too. I guess the only other thing I would think about within this is like just of like a strictly contract if we're going just based off the numbers. It's just it was good they re-signed Julius last year and they had to do it, like, but also like maintaining the salary slot of it.
yeah,
Because what I'm thinking about is like, okay, you've got like obviously Jaden, Nas, and Ant are kind of like on these bigger deals, but like in a perfect world, you wouldn't really want to trade any of them. So Rudy and Julius are kind of the two others that make a good amount of money that you could salary match with to get a good player. And so I think it's just really important to parlay that into like a true bona fide second option. And like maybe you can kind of like finagle it of like the guys we're talking about, where maybe it's not like, Kyrie Irving, like big name, and it works out that way. But I just think you got to be careful of like, all right, like let's just break Julius up into two role players. It's like, well, you're kind of banking a lot then on like Rudy maintaining his level of play, so then he doesn't just become that kind of dead money, and not dead money, obviously, but you know what I mean, depreciate.
that's what the Warriors have done for a decade now. Like, you
Right.
look at Kevin Durant sign and trade to Brooklyn. They didn't want D'Lo back, but it keeps the salary slot open. They can then trade D'Lo to Minnesota for Andrew Wiggins. Won a championship with him.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and say they didn't want Andrew Wiggins, but like they wanted his salary slot more than D'Lo, and then they cashed that chip in for Jimmy Butler. Didn't go how they wanted it to, but I'm sure they will trade Jimmy Butler for a different salary cap. And like,
Yep.
smart teams focus about the money more than like the players, which I think Tim Conley's a smart GM. Like,
Yep.
my guess is that he'll probably be going along that route, which I know Farrah brings up. Kyrie would be a really good option. Like, I think Kyrie, again, if you're getting 80% Kyrie pre ACL tear, like, yeah, that makes a ton of
Yep.
sense.
Especially because you've seen it next to another like high
Mhm.
usage ball dominant guard too. Like you've seen that work like on the basketball court. It's not just like a theory you have in your head. So
There's also just certain guys that like I'm spoiled because I have credentials and I'm not like a 6-year media graduate from like some university. So there's just certain guys that like, I don't know, be fun to talk to Kyrie, pick his
right.
brain a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
selfishly,
Absolutely.
yeah, bring Kyrie in. That's great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Again, don't know how it'll work out, but like, yeah, I'd have fun. Kind of the same with Durant last summer. It was like, yeah, I don't know, I might not work
Yeah.
out, but like, I'll
Like that'd be cool
love
though.
to talk to Durant for like a couple months. That'd be cool.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. All right. I think I'm ready to hear your rant. I need you to really get in there. All right.
It's just all right. So like 65 games, I don't understand like the reasoning for it, because you let media vote on the awards. Like, don't let media vote for it. If you're going to make like these arbitrary things of like they need to play X amount of games, why even have media vote on it? Just have AI do it. Like, if a media member can't decide if Anthony Edwards playing 63 games, is like, oh man, 63 games. We can't give him all NBA because he didn't play enough games. Like, if that's what a collective of all of the voters decide, I would much rather have that than just like an arbitrary number. And on the flip side, if a guy plays like 35 games and a collective of media people are like, he's all NBA third team because boy, he was good in those 35 games. Like, all right, I guess I'll live with that. Like, that's what the mob rule has decided. We live in a democracy still, I think. Like, we shouldn't have these weird rules. And I think this year it's really going to be telling, because like I do think like Julius Randle might be all NBA third team. Right. And that's insane that like 15 years from now, I'm going to be looking back on this season, or I'm going to be looking back on all NBA award winners for some random piece that I'm writing. And I'm going to be like, oh yeah, Julius Randle, the guy that the Wolves couldn't wait to trade, made all NBA third team because a third of the league is disqualified by an arbitrary number that didn't even help the rest issue. Guys still do it.
Yep.
That's my rant. It didn't fix the problem, and it's dumb.
Well, yeah. No, I am 110% on your side, because it's like, okay, so you trust these media members who have votes to judge like the nuances of like great basketball players, right? And determine like based on like all these different factors and net rating and all these like advanced statistics, but also the eye test. You trust them to watch enough games to understand like this guy's first team, this guy's second team. But you have to put in a rule that says like, oh, but if they didn't play this amount of games, then you can't vote for them. It's like, okay, so you trust them with the hard part, but you handicap them at the easy part. Like, that just does not make sense to me at all. So
doesn't make sense. I mean, the other side of it is like, can you imagine if they were like, no one can make an all NBA team unless their true shooting is 55%?
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's the same thing. Like, oh, they're not a good enough shooter, they can't make an all NBA team.
Right.
And then you have the contract side of it too, where it's like,
yeah,
media members have the like privilege, I guess I'll say it that way, of like deciding what players qualify for a supermax generational wealth changing contract.
Yeah.
And you're going to say that because a guy only played 63 or 64 games, they can't like make that decision? Like, that's insane. That's insane. It makes no sense. Also, bring back positions on all NBA. I'm going to get on my Bill Simmons high horse here.
All right.
Like, I am a basketball like history dude. Like, I love going back and looking at like all NBA teams and different seasons and stuff, and being able to like look at them and be like, all right, here's the 3 best centers in the league. Like, here's the 6 best forwards. Here's the 6 best guards. Like, that's where I can kind of start my foundation of this season and then kind of expand from that. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't do that anymore, because like one of these years there's going to be like 4 centers on it.
Like, and the most random center you've ever seen too, because the other 5 didn't qualify.
Exactly. So now it's any 15 players, as long as they played over 65 games, and also like 9 of them might be centers, which makes no sense. It makes no sense. I hate it. It makes my life terrible. Maybe that's an exaggeration. I don't think it actually makes my life terrible, but like, it's just one of those like frustrating things where it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hold on. I saw the chat. Let's see what the Thunder Lakers score. Oh, 76-41 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, or second quarter, excuse me. So yeah, so there you go. We could be having that kind of night right now too on this show. So
yeah, see it like, let's just rest the guys for the remainder and play the Lakers. Yeah, it seems like if this team's locked in defensively, they'll be pretty good odds they'll beat the Lakers.
Exactly, and it's like, I trust that for one game of like putting it all together, but it just remains to be seen over a 7-game series. And again, tie it fully back around. Just I think we just gotta see it consistently in order to believe it. So yeah.
Before you get out of here, because we're hitting that 40-minute mark, I don't think I have you on the show again till the postseason, when I panic text a bunch of people to try and get like a 4-person panel on. Like, where do you feel like this team's gonna win a playoff round this year?
I do. Yeah, I do. I just think that Ant can rise to the level of any other, like maybe obviously like Luka and Jokic have had like better regular seasons, but I think that he can hit that level, and we've seen him hit that level and like outplay those guys in playoff series each of the last 2 years, pretty much. I
Yeah.
guess maybe Jokic kind of outplayed him 2 years ago, but point still stands if he played well enough on that level in order to take him there. And I just do think that they still do have the depth with this Io and Kyle Anderson to kind of like outduel another team's depth. So I do think that they will win a first round series. Like I'd pick them against Denver and I'd pick them against LA. Either one, and obviously pick them against Houston, but I just have kind of thrown that out as an option right now. So just because I do think that like there's specific things that we have seen that they can pick at that have worked, and not only have worked in the case of, I guess, Denver 2 years ago with 7 games, but have worked to the point of they packed them in 5 last year. Like it wasn't really a close series like that at all. So I do think they'll win one. Obviously, you know, the Spurs question, if that is how if that is how it goes, and they do play the Spurs in the second round, like, and I'm assuming the Spurs are getting out of the first round, obviously. That's where obviously it gets questionable, but you can always point to the experience thing. And like, if nothing else, this Wolves team does have experience in the playoffs, and their best guy has experience of taking a team to the conference finals. Happened the last 2 years. So I always think back of like how bad it felt last year. And obviously at this point last year, they were kind of going on their run, but
Yeah.
at times it felt worse than last year than it did this year. And I think that's easy to forget because we like to live in the moment, which is cool, but it's also like, there were a lot of times last year where it felt like, oh shoot, we might not even like get to the 8th seed. You know,
Yeah.
they're going to be in the play-in full on. Like, remember, it took like that crazy Warriors loss to the Spurs, who were not what the Spurs are this year, for them to even get to the 6th seed. So,
Yeah.
anyway, that was my brief rant. But I do think that I would pick them in a first round series, rather if they play the Lakers or if they play Denver. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think this is a championship team, which like I'm sorry if I'm breaking news to people. Like I've only been saying that every podcast for like
trying
7
to
months.
convince myself.
Like, could they beat the first round? Yes. Could they beat the Spurs or OKC in the second round? Like I wouldn't bet on it, but like they could do it. Could they win a first round series, play Oklahoma City, then play the Spurs, then play Boston and win all of those with how inconsistent they've been? Like that's where I kind of get lost in it of like that. Just they have not shown even a week's worth of consistency to make me think that they're going to be able to do it from, you know, May to middle of June. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they are going to, if they get the Lakers, which it's kind of seeming like that's maybe the path they're taking.
Yep.
I don't know what the Lakers, I think the Lakers have a lot more problems to figure out than the Wolves do. Like, I don't know how they stop Gobert consistently if Ayton's not playing defense. Jaden's been weird this season. And like, if Jaden gets going, like that's might just be over for them. They still haven't really figured out Julius. Like, it's just, that's going to be a tough one for LA.
Yep, for sure. And they're going to play that gaps and elbows defense against Ant. And like, I trust Ant way more to be able to solve that problem when he's had a week, a playoff series, like an actual real game plan against one team consistently repped over and over. I trust him to beat that coverage rather than some Wednesday in December.
Yeah. Godfrey adds Wolves lose to Laker, Nuggets, Rudy gets abused. What I will push back on Godfrey, and I know you're our biggest Rudy Gobert stan in the chat. I think Finch in the playoffs just goes, you commented earlier that Finch is starting Io in the playoffs. Like, I think Finch in the playoffs goes, like, I don't think he cares about feelings. Like, he benched D'Lo for Jordan McLaughlin a few years ago. Like last year, he played Rudy like 20 minutes a game. Like, I would not be surprised if Rudy's having a bad game that it's like Kyle and Jaden playing in the post. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have any hesitation of like, Rudy, you're having a rough one. You're done. Like, go sit down.
It's going to be fascinating to just look at the game logs and see how many minutes Rudy plays every game and like try to match that up with what we're watching. But also, I think the starting Io thing in the playoffs, like that's going to be the like easiest trigger for Finch to pull of like an adjustment in the series. Like, obviously they make thousands of adjustments that we don't even realize or know about, but like that's going to be the one that everyone's like, that's the adjustment that they made, and there's going to be a whole feature on ESPN on it after they do it in Game 3. So,
which like that, you're right. Like if they lose the first 2 in LA, like that's the trigger you pull is Io starting. Like I think like last year, kind of going back to like your recency bias thing of just like Rudy had really good closeout games against these teams. He didn't really play more than mid 20s, low 30s minutes in any game. Like it was a lot of Nas and Julius and a lot of Jaden playing kind of small ball. We'll close with this question. Austin just chimes in here quick. Is Finch's seat any more hot if they lose in the first round? Like I'll throw it to you.
Yes, like definitely obviously more hot than if he won the series. I mean, that I didn't need to say that. That was just true, but but definitely hot. I think we've kind of had this conversation before in that I think they'll give him one more roster pivot before they look to move him, because like the way that it's lining up right now, it's not like they're out of moves other than that, because I feel like that's usually what happens, where it's like a team's looking around and it's like, well, we don't want to make any of these moves, so we're going to change the coach instead. I think that they have actual roster moves that they can make before they kind of look at Finch, really. So obviously, if they get packed in the first round, like this could change, and maybe some other stuff comes out. But just like objectively speaking, I do think that he gets one more roster shakeup and try to make it work. And then if it's the same results, then we can start to have that conversation. So,
yeah, I mean, what I'll add to that is it's kind of my thing that I've been saying is just like I think of GMs and coaches of like self-preservation. Like Tim Conley's going to get one coach fire. I think he goes through this offseason, makes the adjustments, and then if it doesn't work, he uses that bullet versus using both of them in the same offseason. Because then if they fire Finch and they trade Randle and bring in somebody new, and then next year they get bounced in the first round, then it's like Tim Conley might be getting fired, which as somebody who, you know, thinks about what's going to get me fired first and foremost, a lot of times, I would think that, you know, Finch is going to get also like dudes in the locker room still like him. Like,
there's none of that.
They all still really enjoy him. I don't think it's like he's lost the locker room. I think it's more of like this team's just bored of the regular season, and they shouldn't be bored of the regular season because they haven't won anything yet. But they're just bored.
They haven't earned enough to not care that much about the regular season, and yet here we are.
Here we are. Last 7 games, number 1 defense in the league. I mean, they're making fools of us again. Benny, I'll give you this floor here. Where can people find you? Anything you want to plug?
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'll start socials. I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky. My name with a double underscore in between it. So Benny _Hughes. I actually just had a piece come out this morning. I wrote about the twin turbos. So just kind of how fun they've been. Because I feel like we got to glean the fun, especially on a roller coaster season like this. And there have been peaks and valleys, obviously, but I'm like, that's been a really fun thing and been really cool to watch. And I hope that they lean into that identity more of like the space and pace type stuff. So got that, just came out this morning. Go check it out at Canis Hoopus. I wrote a recap on the game tonight, as you were so graciously allowed me to be a couple minutes late to be able to do. So if you really want to relive that one, it's out there. Otherwise, that's pretty much most of it for right now. But otherwise, thanks for having me on as always.
Of course, man. Anyone that joined into this late, as soon as we end the stream, it does get posted over on YouTube, and X lives on forever. If you can wait until tomorrow morning, it does get published as a podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts at 7 a.m. So drive time, 7 a.m. Central. Drive time.
Yeah, that works.
That's English. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be honest. I'm kind of already pre-planning that it's going to be a similar type of vibe tomorrow, but we'll be back after the Sixers game. Sounds like Embiid might not play.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think he's doubtful right now, so
might be another slog of a game to get through, but appreciate everyone for being here. We'll catch you next time.